Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Yas Ali, doing senior residentship at Maulana Azad Medical College. Today I'll be discussing three topics: autosclerosis, Meniere's disease, and acoustic neuroma. Now coming to the third part. So we have taken first was the autosclerosis, where the lesion is conductive. Then we discussed Meniere's disease, sensory neural hearing loss, that to cochlear. Now we are discussing acoustic neuroma. Patient will be having sensory neural hearing loss, that too in the retrocochlear component. So we can have all the differences in special audiometric test. We can discuss again later. So coming to acoustic neuroma. What is acoustic neuroma? The vestibular schwannoma. So it's self-explanatory. Vestibular schwannoma. It's from the vestibular nerve or the eighth nerve tumor arising from the Schwann cells. So how do the patient present? In acoustic neuroma, the presentation depends on the size of the tumor. Usually patient has hearing loss. Patient usually has a sensory neural hearing loss. When you do the PTA, you find more in the higher frequency. Whereas classically you have higher frequency hearing loss. You have in noise-induced, pathognomic in noise-induced hearing loss and ototoxicity. You have high frequency SNHL. Then patient can have tinnitus. In any hearing loss, you can have tinnitus. So in acoustic neuroma, we already mentioned patient has a sensory neural hearing loss associated with tinnitus, and it's a progressive hearing loss depending on the growth of the tumor. But the tumor grows very slow. It's an encapsulated tumor and slow growing tumor. So symptoms basically are depending on the size of the tumor. So let me make a rough diagram. I hope you will be able to. This is the petrous apex. You have your nerve somewhere here. Here you have this is the fifth nerve or the trigeminal nerve. This is the internal acoustic meatus. The typical arrangement in acoustic meatus is, you can remember by mnemonic. Now this is the transverse crest. This is the Bill's bar. You can remember this is the anterior part. This is the posterior. You have the seventh nerve. You can remember as 7 up, 8 will be lower down. Here you have the superior vestibular nerve, inferior vestibular nerve. So this acoustic neuroma or vestibular schwannoma usually develop from the inferior vestibular nerve. So what are the symptoms? We have already mentioned patient has symptoms due to, like patient can have vertigo, progressive sensory neural hearing loss. Apart from that, if the fifth nerve is involved, yes, patient can have decreased corneal sensation and facial hyposthesia. Why? Because in corneal reflex, the afferent is fifth nerve is the afferent and efferent is the seventh nerve. So you have the fifth nerve can be involved. So if the tumor, this is the internal acoustic meatus, if the tumor initial part is the intracanalicular, it is well within the internal acoustic meatus or the intracanalicular. Okay. Then the tumor can come from the internal acoustic meatus into the CP angle. So this is the CP angle. So let me make this for you. Now you have the brainstem. This is the cerebellum. Okay. So first stage is the intracanalicular. From that, tumor can come into the CP angle. If the tumor goes antero-superiorly to involve the fifth nerve, we have already explained patient has decreased corneal sensation and facial hyposthesia. And if the tumor then later from the CP angle, it can grow bigger and bigger to involve the other lower cranial nerves. You have the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th lower cranial nerves. And you should know, in the facial nerve, the sensory is affected first and motor only affected late. And how does the patient have? Patient presents in the sensory component, patient can have, yes, the step is, no, so in sensory part, patient can have hypoesthesia of posterior canal wall. What is the name known as? Yes, it's a Hitzelberger sign. You have something known as the Hitzelberger sign, that is a hypoesthesia of the posterior canal wall. And also patient can have, you can, when you do a Schirmer test or taste sensation can be lost. So these are the, so in acoustic neuroma, it is very important to do cranial nerve examination. We have already mentioned it starts with the, it's starting from the inferior vestibular nerve. You have all the symptoms, you find, you do PTA, you are finding cochlear symptoms like decreased hearing, sensory neural hearing loss. Now when the tumor grows anterosuperiorly, fifth nerve is involved, corneal sensation is lost, corneal reflex is lost, patient has facial hypoesthesia. If the tumor grows or lower down, you can have other cranial nerves involvement, which we have already mentioned, 9, 10, 11, 12, and also 7th we have already mentioned. Again, to highlight, sensory is involved first, only motor part is lately affected. Patient can have blink reflex will be reduced, delayed blink will be there, and other cranial nerves which can be involved will be 3, 4, 6 lately. So you have first part is intracanalicular, then the fifth nerve, 7th nerve, into the CP angle, lower cranial nerves. Then if the tumor impinges over the brainstem, you can have features like disbalance, patient can have ataxia, patient can have exaggerated reflexes. And again, still the tumor grows and it involves the cerebellum. What are the tests you do for cerebral examination? Yes, finger nose test, dysdiadochokinesia, yes, heel knee test. These tests all can be done. Okay. Again, if the tumor increases, patient can have intracranial hypertension, where patient can have photophobia, you can have papilledema, severe nausea, severe vomiting, all signs of intracranial hypertension. So ideally we should be able to pick up the lesion when the tumor is well within the internal acoustic meatus. So what are the tests available? So symptoms we have already discussed, hearing loss we have discussed. So when you do a PTA, we have already mentioned it is the high frequency sensory neural hearing loss. Now speech odometer we have already discussed. There is something known as rollover phenomenon. So patient has very poor speech discrimination score, and once maximum reaches, patient again, the discrimination score again deteriorates. And CC, or the short increment sensitivity index, which is usually high, more than 70% in, that is in cochlear lesion. Here it will be less than 20-25. And you can remember, like in retrocochlear lesion, you have all decay, like rollover phenomenon. In a way, you can remember it's like a decay, means as the voice loudness increases, it increases, then drops. So it's something decay. Again, you have threshold tone decay is there. Tone decay is there. It will be more than 25 decibel. We have speech discrimination score will be very poor. Now vestibular test, caloric will be diminished or you won't get any results. Coming to BERA. BERA is important in retrocochlear lesion. Why? In BERA you have 7 waves, and the important ones are 1, 3 and 5. So in retrocochlear lesion, like in acoustic, neuroma, you can have a latency or the fifth wave. There is a 0.2 more than 0.2 millisecond delay will be there. Considering the other ear normal, you can see more than 0.2 millisecond delay. Now cranial nerve involvement we have already discussed, so it's very important to check for each and every cranial nerves as discussed. CNS examination again we have discussed for the brainstem, for the cerebellum, for increased intracranial tension. And what is the investigation of choice? Yes, gadolinium enhanced MRI is the investigation of choice. It can even pick up small up to millimeters of tumor size well within the internal acoustic meatus when the tumor is still in the intracanalicular lesion. And the classification we have already mentioned, like intracanalicular less than 1.5 is small, 1.5 to 4 is the medium size, and more than 4 centimeter it is a large tumor. And what is the surgical approach? And surgery is the treatment of choice. You have various surgical approaches. Yes, it can be middle cranial fossa approach, translabyrinthine approach, or retrosigmoid. You go behind the retrosigmoid or suboccipital approach, or you can have a combination. I think I have discussed most of the points. So initially otosclerosis, we are having conductive deafness part, which impedance, I'll just impedance we have already discussed. Tuning fork test we have already discussed. Rinne, Weber, ABC, Schwarbax will be normal. Flamingo ping and the Schwartz sign has been already discussed. I think we have covered most of the topic. I think it's a long class, and I hope I have not missed any of the important points. Do mention in the comment section. I'll be happy to reply. That's it. Do revise once or twice. I think it should be enough, even for your examination point of view and entrance point of view. Thank you. Have a good day.